Hi guys, Jorisar here, and I'm talking to you today about the GT Omega Racing Evo XL gaming chair. A lot of you already know I love racing games and play sim racers in my spare time. I've wanted a chair for ages I could race in, but still be comfy enough and support my posture enough that I could do my work hosting and commentating esports and gaming events for hours on end while still having my back feel great. I did some research over a month or so, decided the Evo XL was the chair I was going to try, and contacted GT Omega. I paid retail price for this chair, so you're getting my honest review from start to finish, and they were so confident I would love it that they've offered me a discount code to all my subscribers so that if this is something that you think you'd like as well, you can go ahead and pay less for the chair than I did. Let's not get ahead of ourselves though, because we're going to unbox and see what this chair is really like. So, honest first impression, this box is huge! It's really quite heavy, so handle with care. I'm not sure if I've chosen the right project to be attempting on a Sunday morning, but I guess that's a good indicator of how easy or how difficult it's going to be. Let's give this a go. Okay, so the first thing we have in the box is the chair back. That's pretty evident, and now I'm beginning to understand just why the box was actually so big in the first place. It doesn't look like there are going to be that many parts. The handles seem attached here, so let's go ahead and grab the back out first. It's got the lumbar support already attached to it here, you can see. And next up we have the pure metal frame, which by the way, I'm really thankful for seeing, because in most normal office chairs, a lot of these are plastic, they can be a bit flimsy, it doesn't feel like you can put all your weight on them, but this feels sturdy as a rock. And this is the base unit of the chair. It is also by far the heaviest component that I've had to lift so far. So just be mindful that this is a little heavier than the rest of everything that you've lifted. And inside this box as well, we have, the instruction manual, reasonably useful. We have what looks like the tilt mechanism for the chair that probably goes underneath the seat. Some covers, as well as, oh, that's interesting, the up-down sort of tilt mechanism here, but also another set of wheels. What? Hang on a second. All right, I get it. There are two sets of wheels here. There's one set which are lockable, as you can see. There's the lock here that you can sort of flip up and down, and the other set they're not, and they're just freely rotating. So if you've ordered the lockable caster wheels, or they happen to come with the chair that you've bought, this is why you have them separately and you have two sets of wheels. So make sure you make a mental note of that. And then finally, in this smaller box, slightly worryingly, I have 3 Allen keys and just 2 screws. I'm not really sure how this is going to work, because that's more than 2 screws worth of material. Let's go and find out why. I meant to do that. Alright, so we have the instructions out in front of us. I know what, right? And they have said that the first thing you need to do is make sure you build the base of the chair. So we're going to go ahead and attach the wheels now and see how difficult it is. So the wheels do take a little bit of strength to click in, but I have discovered that if you put the wheel in like that and hold your hands against the chair like this, you can just squeeze them in pretty easily. And ta-da! I've discovered what the issue was with the initial 2 screws, by the way. It looks like that most of the screws needed to put the chair together are already in the chair, which is actually quite useful because it means you're not going to accidentally lose a couple during shipping, and you already know where everything goes. So that's great. That explains why there are only 2 screws there, so I'll find out where they go in a second. But the next step is to put the backrest onto the base, and it's using these 4 screws that are already there. Alright, it looks like that the next bit of the instructions is to put these on. So fitting the back to the seat wasn't too difficult. Most of the screws are already in the chair. To fit these on, so that's going to be easy. The smaller screws there that you had the 2 of when the chair arrived, well, they go in the middle of this bit here. So let's go ahead and put that on and see if that presents us with any difficulty. I've just found out that for this bottom bit here, you do actually need a crosshead screwdriver to get that screw out of the chair. but not very difficult at all. The next step now is to install the mechanism for lifting and lowering the chair onto the underside of the chair itself. So that's great. I popped on the headrest and I was basically done. So I went from box to completed GT Omega Racing Evo XL in just under 20 minutes. But what's it like to use? Taking a look at the features of the finished chair, I started with the armrests. There are of course your typical up and down buttons that you would come to expect from frankly most decent chairs. However, on this chair there were two additional ways I could play around. I could actually move the sides outwards in case I wanted to sort of splay out the armrests, and there was also another button that allowed me to customize how far backwards or forwards I could sit them. That was really handy. I've also never used a chair that could lean all the way back before, so I just had to give that a try. As you can see, I was terrified of tipping over backwards in the chair, but the Evo XL was stable throughout, and after a bit of practice I even managed to get to a flat position. It was kind of fun actually. The headrest is attached via a simple buckle, and you can either unbuckle that or slip it off the top of the chair. The lumbar support is done in a clever way. It's almost exactly the same, but to unbuckle it you will need to get behind the backrest of the chair. It's a little fiddly to do that, but you can probably get it off in about 30 seconds or so. Now, there are a couple of things to be mindful of. The first is that even at its lowest setting, this is actually quite a high chair. I've used a tape measure to measure from the floor to the top of the cushion, and that distance is basically 21 inches or 53 centimeters. That's important because a lot of office chairs have lowest settings that are much lower than that, which means if your table is really low, you might need to find some way to raise your table to compensate. The other thing as well is whether you enjoy the wings that are attached to the side of the seat. They encase your body a little bit more, and I actually quite enjoy them for when I'm using my racing games. However, some people might not prefer them, and I actually chose the Evo XL over the Master XL precisely because it looks like the Evo XL gives me a bit more room in the back, and I have reasonably broad shoulders, and the Master XL looks like there's a chance it might pinch me in just a little bit more. A word on the quality of the chairs as well. In addition to the base components being of solid metal and just being incredibly sturdy, I have to say the synthetic leather and the stitch work on the chairs is superb throughout, and I couldn't actually find any defects. I really do believe GT Omega Racing when they say that they only source premium materials for these kind of chairs, and the workmanship really does show in the finished product. So that's it for my review of the GT Omega Evo XL gaming chair. Now if you have any questions about the chair, leave them in the comments because in the weeks and months following this video, I'm going to do my best to answer as many of them as possible as I use the chair more and more. And a gaming chair is a big purchase. Don't just take my word for it. Do your research and work out what is right for you. For me personally, after my research and after putting this chair together, I think it's a good chair for me and I think it's a great upgrade on what I was using before. And if you feel the same way about a GT Omega chair, you can use the discount code in the video description to go ahead and get a discount off your purchase as well. Don't forget to be mindful of the fact that this chair sits quite high up off the ground, so you need a table high enough to accommodate that. And also when putting the chair together, make sure the screws and the threads comfortably line up. It does have to go through a layer of synthetic leather en route, so it can be a little bit tricky, but get the angle right. It's worth taking it slow and getting it right the first time. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for your likes and comments, and thanks for your subscribes to the channel. I hope I've been able to inform and hopefully help you make a better decision on what chair might be best for you. Take care.